A frigid winter night, the wind howled outside, rattling the windows of Mateo Garcia's small home. Snowflakes danced in the air, blanketing the town in a thick, white silence. Inside, Mateo and his 14-year-old daughter, Isabella, sat huddled beneath a worn quilt, cradling steaming mugs of hot cocoa. The warmth was comforting, yet it felt like a temporary shield against the chill that had settled deep into their lives since they lost Elena, Mateo's wife, 5 years ago. Isabella absently stirred her cocoa, her expression reflecting the sadness that had crept between them like an unwelcome guest. "Dad, why does it always feel like we're alone? No one invites us anywhere. It's like they've forgotten about us," she said, her voice edged with frustration. Mateo glanced at his daughter, seeing the hurt in her eyes. "I know it feels that way," he replied softly. "But people get caught up in their own lives. It doesn't mean they don't care." "Doesn't feel like it," Isabella shot back, bitterness leaking into her tone. The walls that had once echoed with laughter now held only silence, making the loss feel more pronounced. She looked out the window as if hoping to glimpse something familiar, something comforting. The memories of their vibrant past loomed large in Mateo's mind. The community events, music filling the air, voices mingling under bright lights. It all felt like a dream now. "Remember how your mom used to bring people together? Those charity events. She loved helping others," Mateo said, attempting to rekindle the light of those memories. Isabella's gaze softened for a moment. "Yeah, she was great at that," she muttered. The faint smile that threatened to surface was quickly overshadowed by her growing despair. Mateo leaned forward, resolve awakening within him. "Maybe we could do something. Start small. Bring people together like she would have wanted," he suggested, trying to plant the seed of hope. "Let's organize something, a blanket drive or a concert in the park, just to remind everyone that they can help. We don't have to be invisible." Isabella looked skeptical, arching an eyebrow. "You really think anyone would care? We haven't even seen anyone in weeks." "Maybe they just need a nudge to realize it," Mateo countered. "If we show them how much warmth and kindness can mean, they might remember." His voice grew steadier, fueled by the image of his late wife, the warmth of her spirit urging him to step out of his own gloom. Isabella shifted, her expression wavering as nostalgia washed over her. I just miss her," she whispered. "Me too," Mateo acknowledged, squeezing her hand. "But we can keep her spirit alive. We can start this together and make a difference. Who knows? We might bring some of that warmth back into our lives." The promise hung in the air, filled with tentative hope. Outside, the snow continued to fall, wrapping the world in a gentle white embrace, while inside, Mateo felt a flicker of possibility awaken within him. "We'll find a way, Izzy," he vowed, his heart echoing with determination. "Together, we'll warm up this town." Little did they know that the kindness they sought would begin to spread, igniting the healing that lay just beneath the surface of their fractured community. As the snow continued to swirl outside, enveloping the town in a white haze, Mateo found himself lost in memories of a time when life felt vibrant and full. In his mind's eye, he could see the laughter ringing out from their backyard, the air filled with the sweet scent of barbecue and blooming wildflowers. It was in those moments that he first discovered his love for music. Sitting on the porch, strumming his guitar while Eleanor sang along, her voice a soothing balm against the harsh realities of life. Flashbacks played like an old film reel, pulling him out of the gloom of the present. He remembered the way they had worked together side by side, organizing neighborhood events that brought families together. Each summer they hosted potlucks and picnics, welcoming neighbors to share food, laughter, and stories. The joy radiating from their small gatherings filled the air with warmth, like sunshine breaking through a cloudy day. "Remember that summer festival?" Mateo whispered to himself, a smile creeping onto his face. "The one where Mom sang that silly song about the dancing chickens." Isabella looked up, the corners of her mouth twitching slightly. "Yeah, and you were too embarrassed to join in. You thought she was crazy." Mateo chuckled softly, shaking his head. "I thought she was brilliant. She could make even the most ridiculous things feel special." His gaze drifted back to the window, where the stark white of the snow contrasted with the darker memories crowding around him. Life had changed dramatically since Elena's passing. The town that once thrived on community warmth now felt cold and distant. Mateo's thoughts turned to the day they buried her, an icy January afternoon that had matched the heaviness in their hearts. The funeral had been a blur of grief, but the community had come out in droves, their faces lined with empathy. Neighbors he barely knew stood shoulder to shoulder, offering condolences and support. It had been a potent reminder of the connections they once cherished. "Do you think we can bring that back?" Matteo wondered aloud, glancing at Isabella, who had retreated into her own thoughts. "What do you mean?" she asked, intrigued despite herself. "I mean the kindness, the connection. Your mom always believed in the power of community. If we started something, people might remember how to come together." "I don't know, Dad." Isabella frowned. "Everything feels different now. People have changed. They're not the same." Matteo felt a twinge of sadness amid her words. It's true. Loss changes people, but it can also make them appreciate what really matters. Sometimes all it takes is a bit of compassion to remind them of who they are. As the children's laughter echoed through his memory, a surge of determination rose in him. If he could capture even a fraction of that old spirit, he could help heal the wounds that lay burdening their town. He stood, a newfound energy buzzing through him. "Let's do something, not just for us, but for everyone. We can inspire them to reconnect, to realize how much we all need each other." Isabella studied him, her curiosity piqued. "But how? We don't really know anyone anymore." "We start by reaching out," Matteo declared, pacing across the dim living room. "I'll write a letter to the neighbors, share our idea for a blanket drive. If I play a few songs, maybe more people will show up." Isabella considered his words for a moment. "So you think they'll come?" "For the right reasons. I believe they will, just like before." Early the next morning, with the first light of dawn barely peeking through the curtains, Matteo sat at his cluttered kitchen table with a pen in hand. He poured his heart into a letter, describing their idea, how even the simplest actions, donating blankets or sharing a meal, could restore warmth and kindness to their community. He thought of Carmen Rivera, his childhood friend who had dedicated her life to teaching at the local school. With enough faith in her wisdom and creativity, he hoped she might help rally support. Throughout the day, Matteo made his rounds, dropping off letters at doors, each time feeling more exhilarated than the last. There was a shift in the air, a sensation that something could change, that perhaps, with a little bit of kindness, the heart of the town could begin to beat again. Days passed, and soon he received responses. At the shop, he spotted familiar faces whispering and smiling. Carmen approached him with a warm, encouraging embrace. "I got your letter, Matteo. You're right. We need something like this more than ever. Count me in." Her determination reflected back at him, igniting something deep within. As the days turned into weeks, the groundwork for the blanket drive began to flourish. Matteo worked in collaboration with Carmen, who organized plans for an event at the town square, a day when families could gather, drop off blankets, share stories, and celebrate the strength of their community. Each interaction, each conversation sparked a deeper connection in Matteo's heart. Hope was slowly weaving itself back into the fabric of their lives. Finally, the big day arrived. Matteo looked out at the snow-covered square, a fresh blanket of white sprawling beneath the brilliant winter sun. As he set up his guitar under the old oak tree, a flicker of excitement ignited in him. It felt like the beginning of something transformative, a chance to invite warmth back into their lives and perhaps in doing so, remind everyone that while winters may be cold, the warmth of the human spirit can never truly fade away. With Isabella by his side, they prepared for what was sure to become a pivotal day in their lives, a day where they would reach out and embrace the community that had, in its way, always been there. The morning of the blanket drive was crisp and clear, with the sun casting its golden rays over the town square, illuminating the thick blanket of snow that covered the ground. Matteo stood, surveying the energetic scene as neighbors began to arrive, bundled in colorful winter coats and scarves. The laughter of children and the warmth of shared purpose filled the air, igniting a long-held hope within him. Beside him, Isabella was practically bouncing on her toes, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Dad, do you think anyone will actually come?" she asked. "They'll show up," Matteo replied, squeezing her shoulder. "This is about more than just blankets. They want to be here, to reconnect." As the morning progressed, more and more families trickled into the square, carrying bags brimming with contributions, warm wool blankets, handmade scarves, and even homemade cookies wrapped in festive paper. The once somber square transformed into a vibrant hub of connection and kindness. an atmosphere Mateo had longed for since Elena's passing. Carmen Rivera, Mateo's childhood friend, approached him, her arms full of donations. She beamed at him, clearly excited. "Look at this turnout. You've done something incredible, Mateo. This is what our town needs." Mateo's chest swelled with pride as he adjusted his guitar. "I can hardly believe it myself. Maybe this gathering can bring back some of that warmth we lost." Under the branches of the old oak tree, the makeshift stage was set. As he began to play the opening chords of a familiar tune written with Elena, memories flooded back. The smiles, the laughter shared. The crowd quieted, captivated, and as his voice mingled with Isabella's, a simple joy washed over them. Once the last note resonated through the chilly air, hearty applause erupted, punctuated by cheers from the nearby children eager to play. Mateo smiled, feeling the exhilaration build as he motioned for Isabella. "This isn't just about gathering blankets. It's about sharing who we are." Isabella took the microphone, beaming with courage. "We want to hear your stories. Why did you come today?" An older man raised his hand, his face glowing with nostalgia. "When my wife was alive, we organized these gatherings until she passed. Today feels like a step back into that warmth," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Mateo nodded, feeling the collective understanding in the crowd. Each shared story was a thread, weaving them closer together in mutual experience. As they spoke, they began to exchange more than just blankets. Warmth replaced the chill of isolation. As afternoon turned to early evening, festive lights twinkled, sparkling against the white backdrop. Parents chatted, while children built snowmen nearby, embodying the joy of community in simple moments. Mateo mingled, sharing his own tales of Elena and how her spirit lingered throughout their lives, creating a tapestry of shared memories. Then, Isabella tugged on Mateo's arm with excitement. "Look at the turnout. It feels different, more alive. It feels like we've reminded everyone how powerful connection can be," Mateo replied softly, taking in the laughter and warmth around him. Deep down, he knew they had tapped into something much larger than themselves, a collective healing that came from embracing their shared humanity. As twilight descended, Mateo strummed the guitar again, an inviting melody echoing into the growing darkness as people gathered closer. The music wrapped around them like a warm blanket, fostering hope and camaraderie that felt long overdue. With every note, every smile, he felt the weight of their shared grief lighten. The cold of winter may have settled upon them, but today they had wrapped themselves in the warmth of community, reminding each other that they were never truly alone. Today marked not just a gathering of blankets, but the rekindling of a spirit that would breathe life once more into their corner of the world, a promise of connection that would withstand the whispers of winter. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled above, Mateo realized that this was just the beginning. A new story was unfolding, one where they could rebuild the heart of their town side by side. In the weeks following the blanket drive, the atmosphere in the town began to shift remarkably. What had once felt stagnant and frozen in time gradually thawed, revealing a renewed sense of purpose and community spirit. Mateo and Isabella found themselves at the center of this transformation, a beacon of hope amidst the lingering shadows of grief. Every Saturday, the small group that had gathered for the drive expanded into what they affectionately termed Community Fridays. Led by Mateo and Carmen, the initiative brought together families for potluck dinners, karaoke nights, and storytelling events at the local community center. Each event overflowed with laughter, shared meals, and the gentle hum of new connections forming. It sparked life into previously quiet streets that had nearly forgotten the sounds of joy. One crisp Friday evening, Mateo stood outside the community center, watching the sunset stain the sky in shades of orange and pink, a reminder of the beauty that could unfold after the darkest days. As the last rays of sunlight flickered, he adjusted the strings on his guitar, preparing for the night's performance. The warmth of the building radiated into the cool air, mixing with the aroma of chili simmering inside. "Dad, look how many people are here," Isabella exclaimed, her excitement palpable. She had found her footing among the new friends she'd met, her laughter echoing through the entrance as they huddled around tables filled with food. Mateo's heart ached with gratitude. The sight of his daughter surrounded by a sense of belonging filled a void he thought would never close. As the gathering began, Carmen welcomed everyone with her usual enthusiasm. Tonight, We're not just sharing a meal, we're building something together. Each of you holds a story, and sharing them helps us heal and reconnect." People took turns sharing their stories, some profound, others light-hearted, but all filled with shared emotion. Matteo watched how the vulnerability in their storytelling unveiled layers of resilience. There was strength in their admissions of loss and fear, along with joy and hope. It was cathartic. When it was his turn, Matteo felt the familiar twinge of nerves. "This town has always meant much to me," he began, his voice resonating with sincerity. "It was my mother's and my late wife's passion to bring people together. Tonight, we honor their legacy by keeping that spirit alive." He played a soft melody, pouring love and nostalgia into the notes, and the room drifted into silence, listening closely. As the last chord faded, spontaneous applause erupted, echoing off the walls and blending with the sincere cheers of encouragement. After the music settled, Isabella leaned over, her eyes bright with inspiration. "Dad, can I share something next time? I have ideas for a talent show. We can get the kids involved." "Absolutely," Matteo grinned, feeling pride swell in his chest. "Your enthusiasm is contagious. Let's do that." The thrill of their collaboration ignited something deep within both of them, weaving their healing journey together. As days turned into weeks, Community Fridays became a staple, and soon enough, the small town began to feel vibrant once more. Neighbors who hadn't spoken before now greeted each other with warm smiles as they passed on the streets. There was laughter echoing in front yards, children playing together, and a sense of purpose woven into everyday life. One afternoon, as spring started to peek through the remains of winter, Matteo knelt in his garden, dirt beneath his fingernails and the sun warming his back. He planted flowers along the fence, thinking about the beauty of life and growth. Isabella joined him, a small basket filled with seeds in her hands. "Let's plant some wildflowers, Dad. They'll bring color to this place," she said, her expression earnest, a reflection of her growing spirit. "Just like our community," he replied, ruffling her hair affectionately. "Wildflowers find a way to bloom even in the hardest conditions." They worked side by side, planting each seed with care, nurturing a bond as strong as the roots they were wrestling with. It was in these small moments that Matteo marveled at how far they had come, not just as a father and daughter, but as two souls healing and rediscovering joy amid loss. One day, while cleaning out the attic, Matteo stumbled upon a box filled with old photographs and mementos from his life with Elena. He felt an overwhelming wave of nostalgia at the images captured in time. Their wedding day, their first home, embracing each other with laughter. He sorted through the memories, feeling bittersweet joy swirl inside him. Isabella peeked over his shoulder, her eyes widening as she recognized faces from stories he'd shared. "Wow, you guys looked so happy. Can we keep these out?" "They're beautiful." Matteo smiled softly, his heart swelling with warmth. "Yes, let's set up a small memory wall, a reminder that even through hard times, love continues to grow around us." Together, they crafted a corner of their home that reflected their shared past and their promising future. Each photograph told a story, weaving love and legacy into the very fabric of their lives. As the community once again embraced the warmth of connection and togetherness, Matteo's heart expanded as he reflected on how much life had changed. The blanket drive had been the catalyst, igniting transformation not just for them, but for their entire town. He understood now it wasn't about erasing pain, but growing around it, allowing new beauty and connections to flourish. It was in the laughter shared, the music played, and the seeds sown that they would find rebirth, both personally and as a community stitched back together by love. The memories of Elena and their shared dreams lingered like a gentle whisper guiding them, assuring him that healing was possible even after the coldest of seasons. In nurturing bonds and celebrating unity, they had woven a new chapter, a testament to the power of resilience, reminding everyone that spring follows even the harshest winters. As the days grew longer and the warmth of spring settled over Matteo's town, life blossomed anew. One Saturday morning, Matteo and Isabella joined hands with their neighbors for a community garden project in the center park. With shovels in hand and shared laughter ringing in the air, they planted rows of vibrant flowers and lush vegetables, transforming a once-neglected space into a vibrant oasis. "Look at all the colors, Dad. This is going to be beautiful," Isabella exclaimed, her cheeks flushed with excitement as she dropped a seed into the earth. "It sure is, Izzy. Just like our community," Mateo replied, beaming as he looked around at the faces of neighbors working together, all engaged in the purposeful toil of planting. Life flowed like the gentle breeze that rustled through the trees, lifting spirits and nurturing connections amongst families. Carmen and Mateo organized potlucks every other weekend, where savory dishes filled with family traditions invited stories to be shared. Each gathering became charged with warmth, reminders of the strength and significance rooted in unity. But just as the town began to revel in the beauty of new beginnings, dark clouds began to brew on the horizon. One afternoon, while Mateo sat on his porch working on a new song, he noticed a sudden shift. The light, once bright, dimmed as storm clouds marched across the sky, swallowing the last vestiges of warmth. "Dad, are we going to go inside?" Isabella asked from the porch steps, her brow knitting in concern as the wind howled. "Not just yet," Mateo replied, strumming the strings of his guitar in an effort to quell her rising fear. "Let's enjoy the calm before the storm hits." Isabella nodded and sat beside him, trying to mirror her father's calm, but the unease hung in the air like the tension before a symphony. Within an hour, nature unleashed its fury. A deluge of rain fell, quickly turning the streets into rivers as the wind howled through the trees. Mateo and Isabella rushed inside, wrapping themselves in blankets on the couch, watching the storm rage outside. As the wind rattled the windows, Isabella shivered, her small frame curled tightly. "I hope everyone is okay," she said, her voice barely breaking the tension. "Me too, sweetheart," Mateo replied, feeling that familiar urge to protect them both. They listened to the storm's ferocity, wondering how their gardens would fare against such unrelenting force. After hours of rain and thunder, darkness enveloped the town. When at last the storm subsided, a heavy silence laid over their once bustling streets. Mateo and Isabella cautiously ventured outside to find half their neighborhood gathered in the street, illuminated by handheld spotlights, evaluating the damage. Families stared at the remains of destroyed gardens, broken branches, and overturned flower pots, concern etched deeply on their faces. Mateo felt his heart sink watching neighbors grimace at the humorless remnants of what they had worked so hard to build. Carmen approached them, drenched but resilient, her unwavering spirit still shining through her concern. "It looks worse than I thought it would. I'm not sure how we can rebuild," she said, her eyes surveying the wreckage with a mix of disbelief and sorrow. "It's okay," Mateo reassured her, masking his own worry, knowing they needed to rally. "We just need to come together again, like before. We can do this." That night, the community convened for emergency meetings in the community center, a gathering space transformed into a war room of sorts. Mateo volunteered to lead, drawing on the well of their previous experiences. "We can do this, people," he began, his voice steady, fastening fragments of hope. "We may have lost the gardens we nurtured, but we've planted seeds of connection and love. Let's not allow a storm to wash that away." A soft murmur of agreement rippled through the group, igniting a flicker of camaraderie. Families began brainstorming ways to support one another, pooling resources, and offering hands to rebuild the community they had nurtured. Over the next several weeks, the community banded together, fueled by determination to restore what had been lost. They set up donation drives, raising funds for supplies, while neighbors organized cleanup teams. Mateo dedicated his evenings to writing songs that captured their resilience, while Isabella took inspiration, organizing youth volunteers to help mentor the younger children about perseverance and teamwork. Significantly, the Sunday following the storm, as the sun broke through remnants of dark clouds, families convened in the park for what was dubbed Rebuild Together Day. Mateo took the stage, his guitar resting against his knee, and began to speak. "This is not just about fixing our gardens, it's about rebuilding our hearts and lives," he declared, emotions swelling as he looked into the familiar faces. "Today, let's show that we can come back stronger. Together!" The crowd erupted in applause, a unified expression of hope that crackled like electricity in the air. Energized to begin the work of recovery, Mateo led the gathering into a day filled with music, laughter, and determination. He strummed the guitar, a soothing melody threading through their efforts. By sunset, despite the work still ahead, patches of flowering plants and vegetable sprouts shone with promise renewed by resilience. Children were laughing nearby, splashing in newly formed puddles, their joy infectious amidst the camaraderie encircling them. "Dad, this is going great!" Isabella exclaimed, her face illuminated with pride as she carried a small watering can. "Yes, it is, Izzy. Today we showed how strong we can be," Matteo acknowledged, taking a moment to breathe in the warmth of their community that surrounded him. That evening, as Matteo and Isabella sat on the porch, a crisp breeze rustled past them, fragrant with the smell of damp earth and blooming flowers. They gazed at the vibrant hues of the settling sun, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, warming their hearts. "See, Dad? We're still here. We're stronger," Isabella remarked, her optimism wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. Matteo smiled, feeling peace settle within him. "Yes, we are. Together, we can weather any storm." The warmth enveloped them like a familiar embrace, a whispered promise that while storms may come, they would always find their way back to one another, forging a bond strengthened by love, resilience, and unwavering community spirit. They had proven to themselves through shared laughter and collaborative efforts that in unity they held the power to heal, a legacy that would withstand any tempest that may arise. Weeks flowed into months, and as summer approached, the community began to celebrate life anew. Matteo and Isabella watched as the garden they had rebuilt flourished, each blooming flower a testament to their collective resilience. The fruits and vegetables called to them, offering not only sustenance but a reminder of the strength and fortitude of friendships forged in the wake of hardship. One sun-soaked Saturday, excitement buzzed through the air like a live wire as the town prepared for its annual harvest festival. It was a beloved tradition that had fallen by the wayside during the harder years, but now it was a curious blend of hope and renewal. Matteo and Isabella, alongside Carmen and a group of neighbors, had spent days arranging booths that would showcase local crafts, produce, and musical performances. As Matteo loaded the final boxes of herbs and tomatoes into his truck, he could already hear the distant sounds of laughter and music filling the town square. Isabella rushed over, her face aglow with anticipation. "Dad, are you ready? I can't wait to see all the decorations." "Me neither. Let's hurry before everyone gets there," he replied, her enthusiasm spilling over as they climbed into the truck. Upon arrival, the town square was a colorful tapestry of stalls and banners, filled with the laughter of children and the warmth of friendly gatherings. The scent of freshly baked pies wafted through the air, mingling with the earthy aroma of summer blooms visibly lining the flower beds. Matteo set up their booth, arranging the bright vegetables in creative displays, while Isabella darted off to help her friends. As the day wore on, they witnessed the townsfolk come alive, an orchestra of vibrant conversations, music, and joy. Matteo felt a lightness in his heart. The hard work of rebuilding had borne fruit, literally and metaphorically. He glanced to the side and caught sight of familiar faces. "Hey, Matteo, you're in charge here, huh?" called out Carlos, a local farmer and friend, his arm laden with baskets of ripe tomatoes. Matteo grinned. "Looks like we're all in charge, my friend. It's a team effort from here on out." As the sun dipped lower, casting golden rays over the festivities, the first musical act took the stage, a local band that played upbeat tunes, prompting couples and children alike to dance under the glow of fairy lights strung up in the trees. The atmosphere pulsed with life, invigorating everyone who set foot there. As Matteo leaned against the booth, strumming his guitar softly, he felt a familiar tug of nostalgia. The songs that filled the air echoed with laughter and memories of Elena, who used to shine at the festivals with her contagious smile and radiant energy. He took a moment to collect his thoughts, remembering how she had brought people together effortlessly with her sense of joy. "Dad, can we go dance?" Isabella begged, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Matteo chuckled, shaking off the bittersweet pangs of memory, a smile settling on his lips. "So of course, let's show them our best moves." They joined the throngs beneath the twinkling lights, Matteo clumsily leading Isabella around, both of them caught up in the swirl of music around them. It felt freeing as they let laughter fill the air, twirling and spinning, embodying the spirit of the night. After dancing, Matteo noticed an elderly couple walking toward their booth, beaming as they carried grandkids on their shoulders. It was Mr. and Mrs. Ortega, beloved fixtures of the town. "Evening, Matteo, is this your doing?" Mr. Ortega asked, his eyes gleaming with approval. "It's a collective effort from all of us, Mr. Ortega. We wanted to bring back something we loved, and everyone wanted to be part of it," Matteo replied, extending his hand for a hearty handshake. "We've missed this, thank you. You've breathed new life into this place," Mrs. Ortega chimed in, her voice warm. "And you know, you're building something beautiful here." As the words settled, Matteo felt a swell of pride and purpose. This was awakening a deeper realization within him, a sense of belonging woven intricately with community spirit, legacy, and love. As the sun slipped away, casting the square into a twilight glow, Matteo took to the stage to perform. A moment he had both awaited and feared. He strummed the opening chords of a new song that echoed the themes of their journey, one of grief, resilience, and ultimately love. The notes hung in the air, entwining with the laughter and cheer around him. Matteo saw the faces of his neighbors, every smile and nod grounding him. As he sang, he felt Elena's presence beside him, confident, encouraging him to share this piece of his heart. When the final chord resonated, a hush fell over the crowd before it erupted into applause, a vibrant tapestry of gratitude and recognition. Sweeping his eyes over the crowd, he spotted Isabella beaming with admiration, her eyes wide with pride. She dashed over, enveloping him in a hug. "That was amazing, Dad. You're the best." Matteo chuckled, warmth flooding him as he held his daughter tightly. "No, we are the best. We made this happen together." As night fell, a dazzling array of stars adorned the sky, each twinkling light a symbol of hope in the vastness. They congregated on stage for the finale, a medley of songs brought forth by community musicians who had gathered from across the town. Isabella joined in, singing along with her friends. It was beautiful, a harmony of voices lifting into the sky, weaving stories, experiences, and dreams together over the laughter and joy that filled the evening. Matteo stood back, heart brimming, witnessing the culmination of pain transformed into this, a celebration of life, unity, and connection. As the night came to an end, the warmth clung to him like a second skin. Matteo held Isabella's hand tightly as they walked home, tired but content. "Dad, will we do this every year?" she asked, her gaze fixed on the stars. "Every year, and every chance we get. This is just the beginning, Izzy," he assured her, feeling deeply in his soul that their story would continue to unfold like the vibrant blossoms in their garden. Together, under the vast night sky, they walked home hand in hand, reflecting on how far they had come and the promise of tomorrow. A journey strengthened by unwavering love, community, and the ties that bind them through every storm. As summer faded into autumn, the community flourished in a new light. The gardens that Matteo and the townsfolk had restored were alive with color. Pumpkins bobbed in patches, and the crisp scent of ripening apples danced through the air. Matteo often found himself watching Isabella at the park, her laughter ringing out like music, a reminder of the healing his heart had undergone. One afternoon, as they enjoyed the warm sun, Carmen approached, a bottle of lemonade in one hand. "Matteo, can you believe how far we've come?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with joy. Matteo accepted the drink gratefully. "It feels surreal, doesn't it? We're building something beautiful together." Carmen grinned, her enthusiasm infectious. "I think we should throw a thank you party for everyone who contributed to the gardens. It's time to celebrate." Matteo nodded in agreement. The suggestion resonated deep within him. This community had come together through trials that forged bonds stronger than ever. With their plans set in motion, they began organizing a harvest thank you potluck to invite everyone to bring a dish reflecting their family traditions. In the days leading to the event, Matteo found himself inspired to write a song, a melody that encapsulated the spirit of gratitude, resilience, and connection. He poured his heart into lyrics, weaving together the strands of shared experiences, echoing the journey they had traversed. On the day of the potluck, the town square transformed into a lively celebration, adorned with vibrant autumn leaves and delicious aromas. Families gathered, laughter mingling in the air, while tables overflowed with dishes, bisques, pies, and casseroles that spoke of cultural ties. Matteo helped set up the sound system beneath an old oak tree, a place where residents could gather and share stories. As he watched the joy spread like wildfire around him, he caught sight of Isabella, her enthusiasm pulling her friends into dances that mirrored the joy surrounding them. When it was time for Matteo to rise to the stage, he felt a familiar flutter of nerves and excitement. He called for attention, his heart racing. "Thank you all for being here. Tonight isn't just about food. It's a celebration of our journey together." With that, he strummed the chords of his new song, "Together We Rise." The crowd fell silent, captivated. As Mateo sang, he saw the warm smiles and nods of encouragement from his neighbors. Singing was a bridge connecting his past and present. When the last note hung in the air, applause erupted, affirming every shared struggle and triumph. Tears of gratitude brimmed in his eyes, knowing they had created something special. Later, families enjoyed the harvest spread, recounting tales amidst laughter, the atmosphere electric with possibilities. Isabella danced carefree, her joy serving as a reminder of everything they had built together. As the sun dipped below the horizon and stars began to twinkle, Mateo raised a glass filled with sparkling cider. "Here's to us," he declared, "to love, community, and new beginnings." The crowd echoed back, voices lifting into the starry sky. As the event wound down, Mateo felt a warm sense of peace settle in his heart. They had not only rebuilt their gardens, but had also woven deep ties of friendship and support that would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. Feeling Isabella's hand slip into his, he turned to see her radiant smile. "Dad, can we do this every year?" "Yes, my love, every year, and every chance we get." Together they walked home under the night sky, hearts full and spirits high, ready for whatever came next. They had faced storms together, but now they thrived, weaving dreams and memories into the tapestry of life that would continue to grow, nurtured by love, connection, and the beauty of shared experiences.